And this is the premiere edition of the Swarm Unplugged podcast on Beessocial TV. Have a very special guest here today, Tony K. So don't go anywhere. This is the Swarm Unplugged podcast, where we get to know the Beessocial community and encourage others to join us. With hundreds in the community, we want to get to know all of you better. From the newbie to the expert to the project partners, we will be learning who they are and how they can best benefit from Beessocial. I'm Christopher Knight, so let's get started. And a big welcome to everyone to this premiere episode of the Swarm Unplugged video. This is going to be a fun run for us, I tell you. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m., we're going to bring you some fun people and community people that you all will get to know even better, but we're going to have a lot of fun doing it as well. Today, our very special guest, Tony K. But before I introduce him, I want you to take a look at this.
One quiet, peaceful night, looking up at the stars. All of a sudden, reality sets in. That we all share the same view of the skies. All of us have an equal view, no matter where we live on Earth or what economic situation we may be in. Try and imagine what this planet would be like if, just like our equal view of the skies, we all had equal opportunities. What if we had information that would make everyone on this planet equal? Then we would have an obligation to humanity to share this information. We do. M2 Cash. Together, we can change the world.
And that, of course, is right from the very mouth of our guests. And I think very inspirational. We know over the last several days that we've had some great inspiration on the humanities side. And I think that was great work done. But, that doesn't sound like the true Tony K that we all know and love, does it? So let's bring on Tony K and get to know him even better. Hello, Tony K, and welcome to the Swarm Unplugged podcast. How are you, my friend?
So Tony couldn't make it. He's previously engaged. So
yeah, he always does that to people. I know that. Go ahead.
He's previously engaged, but I might be able to get his twin brother. So hopefully he can fill in. I mean, he's not as good looking, but we're going to have to see what we can do. Let me go get him real quick. Just give me a second here. Okay?
No problem. I really appreciate you doing that.
Hey, Rick.
Oh.
Hey.
And what is your name again?
Yeah. This is Tony C.
I see.
Tony K couldn't make it, and I was up real late last night, so it's forgive my bloodshot eyes, but
that happens. It happens with age too, Tony.
I don't know, because I'll never be as old as you, Chris.
That's true. You'll never have the honor. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But let me get some eye drops. Hang on a minute. So,
all right.
I got the eye drops, so
Oh well, Tony, welcome to the Swarm Unplugged today. It's a great pleasure to have you on the program. We see you so often and hear you so often, and we love you. There's no doubt about it. We actually love you. But, I know there's more to Tony than what we see. So why don't we dig down a little bit, my friend? You have confessed to me that you have some lovely children. Is that a rumor, or is that true?
Yep, I really, really do. And I'm extremely blessed to have two wonderful daughters. And they are in some of the videos that I've kind of put out there. And I've got a wonderful son. He's 17 and a half years old. I'm not sure he's going to make it to 18 because either his mother or myself, we're going to take him out. I'm not sure. And that not going to take him out to dinner, that is. We're going to take him out. And, but I'm just kidding. So, as in most boys, he's a challenge. So, but he's a good kid. He's really good, But before I tell you about myself, I really want to tell you guys that I appreciate what you're doing and appreciate the opportunity to come on. It's a real honor for me, and I'm following in the footsteps of some great people that you've interviewed. So I'm really appreciative that you'd even consider this. So thank you for that. And Rick, of course, who's in the back doing the magic. Rick, I appreciate you too, and everyone else. So talk about myself. So that's going to be hard because I just I'm extremely private and very much like Richie. I'm kidding. I'm not private at all. I could care less. So, I'm an open book. So Chris, you ask the questions and as long as you understand that whatever we do, and this is more on a serious note, I really only want to take this broadcast, and the only thing that I really want to talk about is religion, sex, and politics. So if we can stay on target, then you got my attention.
We'll attempt to do that for sure. It's
Right.
very important that those three areas are covered thoroughly. But so let's talk about a little politics involved in the community. Tell me a little bit about that. How did anybody rope you into this program?
That's an easy one. There's a very young man. He's a good-looking, dashing guy, and you're going to see some videos of him when I get his permission. But his name's Kevin Fugate, and just like Dan, Dan was, kind of tried to bring Kevin out of his life by getting involved, but all what happened is he got more involved in Kevin, badgering him. Now, Kevin didn't do that to me. He basically, I had the opportunity of meeting him. We got on really, really great. And so he's the one that kind of introduced me to the whole Beessocial thing. And so here I am. And that was, that was close to a year ago when we first started. So I've got to give the credit to Kevin. I'm not sure he wants it because he doesn't want to take any responsibility for me to come in, which I don't blame him, but that's how it started. So I don't know if that answers your question or not. Now
you did, but what did Kevin say to you that said, "Oh yeah, I'd like to do that"?
He introduced me to Richie, and we were going to have a 15-minute call, I believe it was, and it was a great call. I believe it was about 5 hours and 15 minutes. And so anyone that knows me and Richie, we can certainly talk a lot. So that's not unheard of. And then I think the next few calls we had were about 4 hours. So they were about, the equivalent of a 10-minute call. So, that's kind of how it came about. Now, he didn't have to, he just told me about it. And I thought, wow, what an incredible opportunity to be able to change so many people's lives and to be able to touch so many places. To me, I really was skeptical because I didn't understand truly how impactful it can be. Then you see people like Arnie and people across the world, Layla, and all of the different people that we've got. You can tell their hearts are true, and just the community, what it's done so far, has really given me an opportunity to understand that, there is some other people that are like-minded, and everything that we've done so far has been just exactly on par with what I was hoping. So I'm just, it's a privilege for me. It really, really is. It's a God's gift. So, I'm extremely humbled by being a part of this group, but anyway, that's not about me. Right. And
this show is all about you, my friend. So I want to move forward a little bit deeper here. Okay, you had all these calls with Richie, but it certainly wasn't about M2 or anything. It was about something else that was moving and shaking back in the early days. What was that called?
Well, so in order for me to say something, I have to do a disclosure. So, just so you all understand that I can neither confirm nor deny anything I'm about to say. And I also can't take responsibility for anything that comes out of my mouth. So as long as we got that disclosure out there, then I'm good.
I'll send it over for a signature. Go ahead, though.
So we had, there's several projects that's going to be, I think, coming up. When we first got involved, there was you guys have probably heard about the Smiles Project. It's an incredible thing that is going to come out, and it's going to definitely impact the whole world for sure. And I'm not sure how much I am or I'm not supposed to share. So because I don't want to, as we say, nuggets, I don't want to spread too many of them around. But there was a Smiles Project that really got me interested in it, because it really gave an opportunity to get people to smile. And who wouldn't want to smile? I mean, if you get people to smile, it changes their disposition. And as you guys know, it takes more muscles to frown than what it does to smile. So, or the other way around, I can't remember. Either way, it's a good thing, right? So, so that was my introduction to everything that we were doing. I'm not sure if that answers your question or not.
Well, it does, certainly. And then as things kind of morphed along the way a little bit, and we moved into certain other areas along the way.
That's right.
What are your present kind of impressions about where we are right now with the entire project? Now, you've been there from some of the early days, but how do you think it's progressed along the way?
Well, there's the project's been around for, or being developed, let me put it to you that way. And again, giving too many details would be probably misspoken, but it's been many, many years before of development and everything else that's behind the scenes. And so, as I say, I've only been around for the last year. People like Kevin have been around for many, many years. And so you know what? I forgot the question. What was it? What you asked me, Chris?
I'm asking you how you thought the program had progressed. Okay.
How what?
No, come on now. You need your hearing aids right now, or what?
Where are they? Here's my hearing aids. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got you. So now you understand the question. So how has it changed, and what do you think about how it's changed?
I think that there's something that's been said, and I don't want to repeat myself like everybody else, but seriously, and this is serious, every single thing that seems to have happened, whether it's been a diversion or what might look like a change, for some reason it's always been a huge, huge blessing by way of the direction that we looked like we were going seemed to change the trajectory, but in such a way that it was always tenfold what we had expected. So the changes that have been made, answering your question for real, has been really, really hard to even fathom, because the back work that all the dev team that are all over different places of the world, in order for them to be able to truly understand this really fast moving space that we are in, it's amazing what we've managed as a group to accomplish. And of course, what they've done is way, way, way over my head. But I can only say, wow, I can't wait for what's coming, because it seems like every time we turn around, it just gets better, Chris. So hopefully that answered that question. I don't know.
Certainly. And there have been certainly a lot of changes, not only in just, all right, what does that say, Tony?
It says, Tony, you're flying to the Crescent City for the Swarm barbecue. Wow. I thought they were coming out here for the barbecue, but we can go out there.
I thought they were going to send a helicopter for you, is what I thought. So
I was hoping that Dan Harrison would just fly for me and come and get me, because I'd be privileged to be in a plane with him. Plus, I want the experience of landing. He's got the most unique landing.
Of course he does. Yeah. Now, of course, we've morphed along the way, and you've been, like I say, you've been a part of the program a year, whatever it's been. But yet, Tony is a very diverse person too. You have had many changes in your life. Give us a little overview of what your life has been like. I mean, you've worked hard all your life, and people ask, what does Tony actually do in life? And I don't have an answer to that question. So help us out here. Answer that.
I'm going to try. Well,
all right.
Tim just asked the question about my T-shirt, so that's a good intro too. Thanks for that. So this is something I'm kind of passionate about. I'm again very blessed to live on a lake and have done for many years, and so boating has been a big part of my life. And one of the things that we started in projects quite a few years ago was for me personally to try and develop and design something that made a lot of sense for people to use. So it'd be user-friendly, it would be eco-friendly, and many different aspects of what we were doing. Well, Anthem Marine I'm assuming I can plug my company if I can. So,
absolutely.
So if you go to www.anthem.am, as in Anthem Marine, you'll see the boats that we're building right now. And as everybody else has had the same problem with COVID and everything else, it's a brand new company. There's tremendous amount of years and experience behind this boat and the design, and there was a tremendous amount of passion and love. And again, if you understand boating like a lot of you do, you would probably be able to see that some of the things that we put into this boat, from the fact that it's completely aluminum, so it's completely recyclable, it's probably a forever hull. You'll just have to change the engine if you ever have a problem with it, but it's a safety thing too. So rather than going into detail, I'll just ask you to look at the website and see what you think and give me your opinion. We're also doing some other projects, so hopefully we'll be able to be more of a solution to this particular category than anything else, So yeah. Ray wants to see me on the Bobcat. So that's been being on the lake. If you guys live on a lake, you know that it's a forever, never-ending issues that you have to deal with. So I recently, thanks Ray for the question. I recently had to expand our ramp and extend it out because, for some reason I had this thing about, well, that's kind of cool, but if I could get it bigger, that'd be great. Well, sometimes, you've got to think a little bit further than just what's right in front of your face. So I've got this lift that's about 13 feet wide, and it would accommodate a 40-foot boat. Unfortunately, my ramp's only 12 feet wide. So that created a bit of an issue. And so me thinking this lift I got is heavier, I wrapped one of my custom trucks behind it and ripped one of the legs off. So several $1,000s later, I realized, you know what? Sometimes you got to be smarter than the piece of equipment you're operating. And so I thought, I'm not going to ever achieve that smartness. So I just better make the ramp a bit wider. That would just make more sense. Now, the problem with that is when you got a girlfriend that is all she ever sees is your butt sticking out of, working out at the dock. So her interpretation of me when summer comes is, oh, here we go. He's going to be working from sun up to sundown, working on that stupid dock, changing it and everything. So around here, everybody knows me as it's Tony's Marina. It's a little private lake. It's compared to lakes that you guys are used to. It's pretty much a puddle in perspective, but it really, really has a lot of work behind it. Now, answering your question a bit deeper, before the boats came along, Chris, I was fortunate enough to be in the health club industry. So I've built quite a few health clubs in my little town of Loveland here in Colorado. About 6 of them I've either revamped or redone or rebuilt or started from scratch. And our first one was called Club Genesis. And so we named it that way because of the beginning, and also because of some of the other things that I thought would be great about calling it Genesis. And so that's kind of where we started. That was many, many years ago. I'd tell you how many years ago, but then you'd know how old I am. So I'm not going to do that. So, because again, remember, I'll never be as old as you. So, you know.
Of course, I know.
Yeah. So I've had the fortune of being in the restaurant business, so many different things that we've done, which has been just nothing but a blessing. Every time, you know, just like what happened with Beessocial and everything behind it, there's been many different avenues and certain things that you go down, and all of a sudden you question, oh gosh, what is this, and why has that happened, or how is it? And I'm one of them guys that always see the cup half full, and I always say, you know what, that's okay. That was a little painful, I think, but I really learned something from it, and I'm so glad it didn't get worse. So, you know, there's always a different perspective of looking at things. So, you know, you've got to look at it every day as a blessing, because the only thing we have as an asset, the only thing, is time. That's the only thing that we're never going to be able to, you know, captivate. So we better use every moment that we've got wisely. And if we can do it to better the planet and leave it in a better place than we found it, then we've probably got the right idea of what we need to do. Because, you know, like you mentioned earlier, Chris, about my 3 kids, and, you know, I hope that at least I can give them some good habits and understanding of what is important in life. And it's not about to get more, be better, it's about what you can do for others, right? That's probably the most important thing that I think you can do. So, Tim,
Well,
there I missed.
Tim wants to be your Northeast distributor for the boats. So,
okay. So Northeast would probably work, because Grant out in the West, you know, he's already hit me up on trying to go out West. So we're going to have to fight over where that territory splits, you know.
And you can't have North Carolina. I've already spoken for that. So
yeah.
we'll.
So before we go any further, just so you know, I've got so many offers of demoing our boats. So just add yourself to the list, and if I don't get back to you, you know, real quick, just understand that there's a bunch of people ahead of you, and that doesn't mean I'm not going to try and help you, but there it is. Yeah.
Well, having seen those videos of that boat and everything else, it is one of the finest boats I've ever seen put together. I'm serious about that, because it fits what I like in a boat. So not everybody likes everything else, but you know, it fits what I like. So great job. But didn't you at one time like work in a restaurant or something too?
Yeah, I grew up in the restaurant industry as well as so many other things. My dad, for some reason, decided that he wanted to do 1,000 different projects, and so he was a true entrepreneur. He had so many skills and so many things. I could just hope that my son and myself could even be 10% of what the man that he was, because he was just a really, really unique guy. And so one of the things that he wanted to become was a restaurateur. So he did. And in London, which is where I was born, he decided that he wanted to become, he wanted to get into restaurants. And, you know, my dad's always cooked and everything. So we had French cuisine, and so we specialized in French food, which was kind of cool. And then we did that for several years, and then we ended up coming to the States. Again, I'm not going to tell you how long ago, but it was a long time ago. And then we ended up having a French restaurant in a place called Washington, Missouri, and it was a historical landmark called Elijah McClain's, and we turned it into a restaurant. It had a fire, so we renovated it, and it was a really cool property that's still there. And so we did French food there, which was kind of cool. So sorry about that. So yes, I was exposed to many different cultures of many different food types and everything, and I certainly have the ability to have a good palate and good food, but I can also eat, you know, if I was down south, it would be the south end of a northbound skunk. I haven't had it yet, but I probably, if it was prepared correctly, I might even try it. I'm dumb enough to do that.
All right. Yeah.
And there's some people listening saying, what's he talking about? That's a delicacy. That's obvious. Not no insult to anybody there, but
hey, that Upper Panhandle, Texas, we have roadkill that we serve on the barbecue too. So
yeah,
all right.
They had that in Missouri too, right?
Well, and Josh, thanks for the invitation to move to Crescent City. I'll be out there as soon as possible. So
was he inviting you or me?
Oh, he's inviting me. What are you kidding? See, when am I moving out there? I mean, come on. Why would he want to mess up Crescent City with
why
with
would Josh
Tony
want
K?
you? Yeah, really.
Whoa. That's all right. You know what Josh doesn't know, of course, and we'll announce it even right now. But Tony K will be co-hosting Josh your show on Thursday. So watch out what you say right now, because he can lay in wait and just chop you off at the knees. So that is a nugget I'm dropping right now. Tony K will be co-host of the Swarm podcast on Thursday and for the next several episodes, as a matter of fact. And we are going to have a lot of fun together in that regard. So even though Ray's not allowed to drop nuggets and Tim isn't, nobody said I couldn't. So there you go. What do you think, Tony?
Well, I wasn't sure if you would actually announce that until the end of this interview, just so you had a way out. So, so now that you've committed yourself, now I can really show my true colors, right?
Well, no, not yet, because this you're still the guest today. You're not the co-host. You're the guest today.
Gotcha.
Now you got to draw the line between the two. We've already talked about this, Tony. Come on now.
Yeah, you did, but it wasn't live, so I was hoping I could,
Yeah, Nugget City right here. There we are.
Yeah.
And that's it's not Crescent City, right? It's Nugget City. Yeah.
It's close to it. It's real close to it.
Real close to it.
Yeah. The other one is, of course, North Carolina, Nugget City, which is where I think that's pretty close to where Ray might live. So where South Carolina. No, it's not far.
Yeah. It's a different world out here. That's for sure.
Yeah. Now, you're about 5 hours away from him.
From who?
From Ray.
Oh, probably 8 hours, actually 6 to 8 hours, probably. Yeah.
All right. Close. Yeah.
Right down the interstate highway and knock on the door. Yeah. If I could find it in those hills. But now people also ask about your home. If you don't mind talking a little bit about that, I think it would be very special, because you have a gorgeous home that you have been very much a part of in the construction phase and everything else. Can you give us a little overview, or is that too personal?
One of the things that I tend to try and believe in is, if you've got something that you can share, whatever it is, if you don't share it, you're just being selfish. But there's a problem with that, because sometimes it kind of comes across like you're bragging. So, I hate to do that, because my belief, and I'm going to get away from the house for a second, my belief is, everyone's an equal. And if you are fortunate or blessed enough to have certain things, and, it doesn't matter what kind of car you drive, what kind of house you live in, and how many zeros you may or may not have in the bank, that doesn't make you better than anybody else. So, I like to treat people like I want to be treated. And so with the house, I kind of got serious there for a second, huh, Chris? So
yeah, you did. That's good. That's good. It keeps your blood pressure down, Tony.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm wondering what your blood pressure is actually, because I know you're on the edge of the seat saying, I don't know what this clown's going to do next.
I started on the edge of my seat with high blood pressure.
Yeah.
I've calmed down now. So
just in case, I'll get back to the house in a second here. I'm not avoiding it. Well, I might be, but
I know you are.
Just in case this didn't go in the direction I thought. I don't drink, mainly because I have an allergy to it. If I drink, I can drink, but I just get loopy, like really quick. So just in case this wasn't going in the direction, and just in case our friend Scott McHenry's on, I bought something just in case I need it. And even though this is half empty, I didn't drink it. This was
of course not. No, I know nobody ever does.
You wouldn't want to see me drink anything, because it happens really quick, and it's funny though. It's amusing, and if you got a camera, it can actually be. It could probably end up being a worthwhile ordeal, and maybe even bring in a money stream, because I'm pretty sure I'd give myself some stuff that most people would be embarrassed about. I just own it, take it on.
Yeah.
So getting back to the house, listen, I'm very fortunate, very blessed, and there's a lot of people that's in this space that are in the same place I am as far as where they live. They live lovely places and everything. And I just, our place is really, really a place for entertainment. And so, we've had this particular property. I've been on this lake now for about 12, maybe 14 years at a different property. And I tried to buy this house from the builder that bought it about, I badgered him for about 5 years. And it's really actually sad, because he was a builder, and he put his heart, blood, and sweat and soul and tears into this thing. And he used all kinds of favors and everything that he could to build the house. And so he built it extremely cheaper than what the value of it was. So again, we were extremely blessed to get it. Now, the sad part of this was he had 2 young kids and a wife, and he was 45 years old. And then on his 46th birthday, which was, it was 5 months after we bought the property. He was in Cabo or somewhere in Mexico, and with his family and his parents and his kids. And the poor guy, his birthday was on December 20th. And on the 25th, Christmas Day, he dropped dead right in the swimming pool right there in Cabo. And so it was really, really sad. But it was good from other perspectives that he managed to take care of things and move into a place that was more manageable for his wife and his kids and everything. So, it was a bit of a sad thing, but I also take pride in the house, because I know how much love and what Tom put into this house was just amazing, absolutely amazing. The house is absolutely gorgeous, and I love the house because for many different reasons, and
Sure.
Not just because it's a nice house and it's on the lake and everything, but there's a lot into it. I really got to know Tom really well, and unfortunately, his life ended kind of short. But we joked many times over the 5 years that I was badgering him to sell the house. How much I got to know him and how much I really appreciate the home and what he did. So he also sold it to me because he knew I had such a passion for it. So, anyway, enough on that, unless you want me to get deeper.
No, that's fine, because you've really said it all. It's a home that you love, you enjoy, and it doesn't matter where it is or what it is. It's just something you enjoy personally. That's important. But there's something else. And again, this is very personal, and you can say, forget it. Let's bypass. Let's move on to talk about boats again. But you and I have had a similar experience in our lives, and that was something that actually changed our lives and changed the way we thought. I'm certainly willing to share my side, but what I'm speaking of. And if you'd like to talk about boats, we can go ahead and just go talk about boats. So what would you like to do here, Tony?
Well, which part are you talking about?
I'm talking about when we disappeared for a few moments of our lives.
So I would absolutely love to share that, because it's actually got a message and some purpose behind it. And I'll gladly share that, Chris, but I'd really prefer you to share yours first. So if you go first and I'll go second, how's that?
Well, I didn't know that's the way. I'm the host. I'm the one that asked the questions, Tony. So,
but you said we both shared it, and you said
yes.
So I'm just
I'll make mine very brief, and you can then go into more detail about yourself. All right.
All right. I'd love to hear it.
Since you're the guest in this case.
All right.
What we're talking about, folks, is there's a time in both our lives in which we actually died and were brought back to life. It happened to me after my wife passed away from multiple sclerosis. A couple of weeks later, I collapsed, and I had an intestine that broken away from the stomach, and therefore all the fluids were inside. Anyway, by the time they got me to the hospital, I was dead. I have no idea how they brought me back. I just know that they tell me the stories, and that's all I can say in that regard. Although my one experience, people say, "Did you see the light? Did you see the light?" No, but what I did do, and I do remember quite vividly, is I hugged my wife, which has already passed away, and I remember that so vividly. But that's a little story on my side. It certainly made me appreciate life and to want to come back and to give more of my experience in my life to others. I do know that is a fact, and when it happened to me. Okay, Tony, you said it's my turn. Now it's your turn. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I got you. You know,
and that's how it happened.
cheaters never prosper. Go right ahead. Rick, give him full screen so he can show off.
All right. So some of you guys, sorry if this is repetitive, but you've heard me mention it. But I was out in Texas, where a lot of you guys are from, and I was burning the candle, to say the least, and I ended up having to drive one of our boats back because we couldn't line up shipping. Cut a long story short, it was a 72-hour trip. I get back, and I kept on putting off this procedure that I was supposed to go into the doctor's office and basically get an injection in one of my nerves to see if it would deaden, if I was a good candidate for like freezing this nerve ending or whatever. So I was extremely dehydrated. I was very, very caffeine filled. And so I wasn't supposed to eat or drink the day before. I go into the doctor's office. They look at my veins and they're like, "Oh, you're perfect for, giving a transfusion to or whatever." So as a precautionary measure, they stick you. Well, they tried to stick me in 6 different places. I was so dehydrated, they couldn't get a needle in me. Well, I proceeded to vagal. So I had acute vagaling response, and so a severe one, I guess it's considered, or the terminology of that. In turn, basically, I passed out. Well, I came to find out that I did more than pass out. The next thing I knew, I was awakened by 2 nurses holding 2 of my legs up in the air, another nurse literally slapping my face, another nurse on one arm and the doctor on the other. And they all looked like they'd just seen a ghost. And they proceeded to tell me what took place. But the first thing that I said to them when I woke up was I was angry. I was actually perturbed that they had woken me up, because I told them I was having an absolute wonderful dream. Why did you wake me up? I was in such a great place. Now, a lot of you guys are not going to probably, maybe you can relate, maybe you can't. But here's the experience that I had. It wasn't a light, but it was a bright place, and there were some faces there. And the feeling that I got, it was absolute peace and tranquility. It was so much so that I really was, I don't know if you've ever experienced a dream that you wake up and you just want to get back to the dream. This was one of them times, and it still hasn't shown me what it is. A good friend of mine said he had the same experience. He was like you, Chris. He was dead for a while. And when he came back, he said it was almost a year till he managed to see some more of those things. I haven't yet had that blessing of getting more from it. Because again, I could have been out for 5 seconds. I could have been out for 5 minutes. I don't know. But when they did get me back, the nurses proceeded to tell me that my whole body was shaking because I had these like convulsions. I was having like fits or whatever. And so she said, then my whole body from my head to my toes was just sweating profusely. And I don't know the order of events that took place, but that's basically what happened. And they said I didn't have any pupils. It was completely, there was just nothing there. And they said that I completely flatlined. And so obviously that's what took place. But and they never did give me that procedure to find out if I had, and they still haven't, if I call them up, I think they got me on automatic hang up. They don't even take my call anymore. So they were really, they didn't have a crash cart because it was just in a doctor's office. So it was a frightening experience for them. And, for me, when I got my blood pressure back to 60 over 40, and my heart rate was just under 40, 30 something. You know, they were tickled pink that I was back in the running. And of course, you know, I was ready to like, oh, okay, let's go, you know. But I didn't get the procedure. But I tell you what it did do to me, apart from me understanding that if what I experienced was a heavenly thing, or if it was a view of where I was going, I'm really at peace with that, because it was a feeling of absolute. I still struggle for the words to express it, but it was somewhere where if I'm going there, I'm okay with it. However, I also think that God probably looked down, and I know we don't want to get into religion, but in my case, I think God looked down and said, you know what, Tony, you've got so many loose ends. You're not checking out this quick. You're not going to leave your kids that way. So you got a lot of loose ends you got to clean up. So I think he probably pulled me back to make sure I clean up my act before I do leave this earth. And so I do some house cleaning beforehand. It also left me with an acute understanding that if I don't leave this place in such a fashion to where it's a better place than I found it, then I've really missed the purpose of me being on this planet. So if I can move forward, and just like that video, and thank you for playing that little excerpt, if I can leave it the way I found it, then I've missed my target. But if I can leave it by touching as many people as I can, then at least I've done what I think was right. My parents, I've been very fortunate. I've still got my mother. Finally got her to move into our house. We're fortunate enough to have an elevator. So she was stubborn for the first year and a half, and she's 86. So she's now starting to use the elevator. I think I'm going to be using it here pretty quick too. But well, Chris is going to use it before me. But you know.
Yeah, that's when I come out and live with you, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, you're welcome. You know that. I already told you that. I really appreciate every day. And you know, my dad used to tell me, he said, before you put your head on the pillow, make sure you can look back and you can be proud of what you did. And anything you do it to the best of your ability, or don't bother doing it. So, you know, I've tried to, and I hopefully can express and pass that on to my kids or anybody else. And I encourage you, you know, if you look out for other people, you'll be fine. You look out for other people, you'll be okay. So don't worry about yourself, worry about someone else, and you'll be shocked how well you'll be okay with that. So it's cool, you know. I missed something.
I see May Wong has a very nice statement there. Can you read that?
Yeah, it says, wow, what an experience, question mark. Tony, we need you in our community for many, many years. May, I certainly appreciate that. And I hope that I can. I'm just praying right now that by the end of this little show here, Chris still wants me around, so I can at least be the comedian for you guys, because most of you who do know me know that you know, I can't go very long without slipping a joke in or whatever, because humor is really important, I think, you know.
Brandon, absolutely important.
Brandon, thank you. I appreciate it.
And May Wong's got another one for you here. Just thank yous as we go along. And as we close out this episode of the Swarm Unplugged, I know that you've already said a lot of what you might want to say, but what would you like to say to anybody in the community that's watching, from your heart or from your mind or whatever? Just something that you'd like to say to everyone before we close today.
You know, I think I've said already a lot from the heart, but if I had to summarize, if I could, boy, you said you were going to put me on the spot, Chris. You did, didn't you? So
you never know.
Yeah. You know, I think in that sentence I just said just a minute ago, you know, be kind to everybody. And if you treat people like you want to be treated, like I've already said, everything's going to feel a lot better to you. And no matter what you do in life, try not to live in regret, because wherever you are, there's a purpose and there's a reason for all of us. And if we try and take whatever we've got as a positive note, meaning that, hey, this might have happened, and there's people that it's hard to imagine if you've lost a child. We lost twins in their first trimester. Otherwise, I'd have had 5 kids. And I truly don't know why that took place or why that happened. And hopefully there was a reason or a purpose behind everything. I don't know. So some of you people that have gone through tragedies, can't even speak now, and you've had some things that seem like it's just so monumental, keep in mind that you're still here. So if you can make every moment that you have count, it's really important that you understand that you have a place and you have a purpose. Don't let anybody take what you have, which is time and whatever you have to share. Do it with a great, graceful heart and a loving heart, and give. The more you give, the more you're going to receive. And I'm hoping that I learn and I can hear some of my own words, because sometimes, we get so complacent. We get so caught up with different things that are around the world and all the different craziness that we're exposed to right now. Mm-hmm. It's sometimes hard, and you lose the perspective of what is important. What's important is your family, whether you extend your family to your real personal family, or your close family, or your extended family, crypto family, whatever it is. Be conscious of who you're talking to, and understand that sometimes, you don't know who you're talking to. Whenever I talk to somebody, and I'll quickly go off on this just for a quick second, if you don't mind, Chris. One of the things that I've always tried to do, that every time I speak to somebody, I don't know what they've dealt with. I don't know whether they've just buried a child, whether they've just come out of a divorce. You just don't know what they've done. So be conscious of that. Whenever I talk to somebody that's customer service on the phone, I often tell them, listen, I'm really upset. I'm not upset with you personally, so don't take this personal. You represent the company, so I'm going to try and express myself as best I can. But if I go a little bit off the deep end, please don't take it personally, because I want you to have a great day when we're done. But understand this is where I'm coming from. So I try and do that, because you got to be sensitive to what you don't understand or what you don't know, because you don't know where people are. So, be good with what you've got, and that's the time that you have, because it's limited. So spend it wisely. There's no amount of money that can give you more time.
Absolutely. Tony, this has been a true delight. And thanks for sharing some of your personal stories, because it humanizes you, my friend. Okay.
I was trying to avoid that.
I knew you were, and I couldn't let you though. So there you go. Right. So for those who have not really truly met Tony yet, you've met the real Tony here on this podcast today. And I'm glad you were able to meet him. I certainly have gotten to know him and appreciate him very, very much. And I know that many other people also share that feeling in the community itself. So again, thank you for being on today's podcast. And I look forward to you as a co-host on Thursday and next week. So Josh Mims is our guest for the Thursday podcast at 1:00. And I think all of you will enjoy what we're bringing on, because Josh is going to do something special on the show. And some of you know he's a commercial fisherman, so get ready for some big fish stories while we're talking to him. So for now, thanks to everyone for joining us. Always remember to listen, learn, and give. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Swarm Unplugged podcast. Be sure to hit the follow button and leave us a glowing comment. Gravitate yourself to be on the podcast so you are the next one to introduce themselves to the Beessocial community. See you on the next episode.